Hi students, let's continue with the Animal Kingdom part 3. In this we'll see about the phylum Platyhelminthes-Aschelminthes and Annelida. In the description box you can find the link for the Telegram channel. Please join this Telegram channel for the daily practice papers. So without delay, let's start phylum Platyhelminthes. Now what does Platyhelminthes mean? Platy means flat. Helminth are worms. So we call them as flatworms. And why they are called as flatworms? Because the body is dorso-ventrally flattened. See, when I say dorso-ventrally flattened, it is flattened from up to the lower side. So body is flattened like this. Thus the name called as the Platyhelminthes, right? To remember Platyhelminthes, we have to remember the common animals present here, like the tapeworms, flukes, and the planarians. The tapeworm has a ribbon-like body and which shows external or pseudo-segmentation. Flukes have a leaf-like body and planarians also have a leaf-like body, right? So all these are flat leaf-like or ribbon-like structures. So remember the organism, these may be like tapeworms, like flukes or the planarians. So let's see the basic fundamental characteristics of Platyhelminthes from the animal kingdom. So where is Platyhelminthes? This is a Platyhelminthes. They have organ level of organization. These are bilaterally symmetrical and they are acoelomates, right? So from the table, we'll get the characteristics that the Platyhelminthes have organ level of organization. The Platyhelminthes are bilaterally symmetrical. When I say bilateral, these are triploblastic in nature. So what is triploblastic? 3 germinal layers, ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm. And these are acoelomate. That is, the coelom is absent or the cavity is filled with the mesoderm. So these are the typical characters, right? Now if you remember, the acoelomates are mostly parasites. That we have seen they have limited locomotion and these are, most of them are parasites. So tapeworms are parasites, flukes are parasites. Only the planarians are free-living organisms. So when I say parasites, these are endoparasites. What is endoparasites? Endo, inside. They live inside the human body. Now to live inside the human body, they require some structures called as hold-fast organs so that they can adhere to our body. And these are hooks and suckers. In the beginning, we have seen that Platyhelminthes has a sac-like gut that is incomplete gut. If you go to the part 1, you can see the description of the what is sac-like gut. So this is incomplete gut present in a few. However, in tapeworm, alimentary canal is absent. So these organisms generally absorb the food from their body surface. So they absorb the nutrients directly from the body surface, right? So they have organ level of organization. A few organs are developed and one of these organs is the excretory structure. First time you can see the development of the excretory structures and these are called as the flame cells. As these are the first to form structures, we also call them as protonephridia. Now flame cells has nucleus and a tuft of cilia. As this will move, it looks like a flame and help in removing the waste material. Remember, any excretory structure also helps in osmoregulation, that is, the water balance in the body. So the flame cells, the first develop excretory structures and also help in osmoregulation. So coming to the structures, many structures are highly reduced, but you can see eyes in planarians because they are the free-living organisms. These structures are present in some of the Platyhelminthes or the flatworms. Considering the reproduction is very well developed as they are the parasites. These animals have internal fertilization inside the body. The sexes are not separate, that is, these are bisexuals or hermaphrodites. They have a larval form in the life history, so I can call the development as indirect development. Planaria has a special property, it has power of regeneration. That is, if you cut the body of Planaria, look at the diagram, into two equal halves longitudinally, so these are the two halves, each half will regenerate and complete the organism. So planarians has a power of regeneration only in the longitudinal, because these are bilateral, we can cut the body only into the longitudinal axis, right? So out of the syllabus, I would like to add one more point. Flukes have polyembryony. Now what is polyembryony? They have many larval stages in the life history. As they have many larval stages, it helps for the better survival of these type of parasites. I think the Platyhelminthes is clear. So Platyhelminthes, also called as the flatworms, as they are dorsoventrally flat, organ level of organization, bilateral symmetry, triploblastic, acoelomate in nature, and these are mostly parasites that do endoparasites inside our body. Because they're endoparasites, the body should have some structures to hold the body. These are the hooks and suckers. Gut is sac-like in a few. In the case of tapeworms, alimentary canal is completely absent and they can absorb the food from the body surface. First time you can see the development of excretory structures called as flame cells, also responsible for osmoregulation. Among all the systems, reproduction is well developed. These are hermaphrodite, sexes are not separate, internal fertilization, indirect development with the larva in the life history. The special properties are Planaria has a power of regeneration, and out of the book I have added the flukes show polyembryony. Right? So let's revise from the textbooks. I thought that you can also finish your textbook reading from here. Take some time to read the textbook. So we are in phylum Platyhelminthes, dorsoventrally flat, endoparasites, bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic, acoelomate, organ level organization. Hooks and suckers are present, absorb the nutrients directly from the body surface. Specialized characters are the flame cells, osmoregulation and excretion, sexes not separate, fertilization internal, development has larva. They say many larval stages like in the flukes. Special property, planarians, they have the regeneration capacity. Very nice. Go for the example as per textbook. The example for Platyhelminthes are tapeworm. So tapeworm has long ribbon-like body and liver fluke. So those who are interested, I am giving the scientific names of tapeworm. It is Taenia. Taenia solium is the pork tapeworm. Liver fluke, the scientific name is Fasciola. It lives in the liver, so hepatica. So Fasciola hepatica. Right? So those who want to learn the scientific names, do learn them. So this is about phylum Platyhelminthes. We'll continue with Aschelminthes. So let's continue with the next phylum. The phylum Aschelminthes. These are also called as the roundworms. The common animals are Ascaris, the common roundworm, filarial worm. So these are commonly present here. Now why are they called as roundworms? So when you cut the body into the cross section, so this is a roundworm. If I cut the body in the cross section, I will see it is completely round in shape. So thus the name called as the roundworm, right? Now when you see Ascaris or filarial, we got that most of them are parasites. These are parasites both in animals, including the humans, and also in the plants. Different type of the worms, what you find in the plants or in the fruits, are also Aschelminthes. Very few roundworms are also free living, which are not parasites, right? So Aschelminthes called as the roundworms. Common animals are Ascaris, filarial worm. These are mostly parasites, a few are free living. And why we call them as the roundworms? Because when you cut the body into the cross section, you find the animal is completely circular in nature. So let's see the fundamental characteristics of Aschelminthes. So remember, this table is very important, where it will get all the characteristics, the fundamental features of the animal kingdom, right? So where is our Aschelminthes? So Aschelminthes is pseudocoelomate, that is false coelom. Coelom is present, but coelomic lining is absent. If you remember, the mesoderm forms scattered pouches, right? So pseudocoelomate is one characteristic. These are bilaterally symmetrical, and from here you can find the organ system level of organization. So what are the basic characters? These animals have organ system level of organization. These are bilaterally symmetrical. When I say bilateral symmetry, I have one more characteristic called as triploblastic. Body has ectoderm, endoderm, and mesoderm. And these are pseudocoelomates. The mesoderm in the form of scattered pouches. So these are the fundamental characteristics. So if you remember, from here we have a complete gut. Now what is a complete gut? A tube-like gut where we can find tube-in-tube arrangement. So these have a tube-like body and a tube-like alimentary canal, where the first opening is called as the mouth and the last opening is called as the anus. One more special property in the Aschelminthes is they have a muscular pharynx. The mesoderm in the inner regions will form the muscles and they have a muscular pharynx. As their parasite respiration is not much developed, the pseudocoelomic fluid will help in the circulation process, right? So what's the other structure? The excretory structures. So these animals have excretory canals, H-shaped canals are present, and they open into an excretory pore. This excretory pore is generally in the first part of the body. So just below the mouth, they may have an excretory pore. So they have H-shaped excretory canals which remove the waste, and they have the excretory pore. As their parasites, reproduction is well developed. Some animals are unisexual, that is, male and female bodies are different, whereas some are bisexuals. We have one more word for unisexual or sexes are separate. We can use the word called as dioecious. Besides unisexual, they also exhibit sexual dimorphism. See, now what is sexual dimorphism? Di to morphoform. So both the sexes, male and the female, appear differently. So males are shorter, thinner, with a curved posterior end, whereas the females are thicker, longer, and the posterior end is straight. So males are thinner, shorter, with a curved posterior end, whereas the female have a straight posterior end. Now this is called as the sexual dimorphism. Fertilization is internal as they are parasites. Coming to development, some have larvae, so we call them as indirect development, and some do not have larvae, so development can be direct. So they can have direct or indirect development, right? So revising the Aschelminthes, these are called as roundworms because in cross section the body appears to be circular. These are parasites in animal and plants, few are free living. The basic characters: organ system, bilateral symmetry, triploblastic, and pseudocoelomates. Complete gut is present. Special property: a muscular pharynx is there. Excretory canals with excretory pore are seen. Reproduction, both unisexuals and bisexuals, we call them as dioecious and monoecious. Sexual dimorphism, male and female appear differently. Fertilization, mostly internal. Development may be direct or indirect. So this is very briefly about the phylum Aschelminthes. So let's revise from the textbook and the examples. So those who want to revise from the textbook, this is the textbook. So Aschelminthes, roundworms, free living or parasitic, organ system level of organization, bilateral symmetry, triploblastic, pseudocoelomate, alimentary canal is complete, muscular pharynx is present. Excretion with an excretory pore. Reproduction, these are dioecious, sexes are separate. Males and females are distinct, and females are longer than the males, as you can see in this diagram as well. Fertilization internal, development may be direct or indirect. Let's see the examples. The common examples are Ascaris called as the roundworm. So Ascaris called as the roundworm. Wuchereria bancrofti called as the filarial worm. And ankylostoma is called as the hookworm. So Ascaris, commonly called as roundworm. Wuchereria, the filarial worm. And ankylostoma is the hookworm. So here you can see sexual dimorphism, where the male have a smaller, thinner body with a curved posterior end, and the female has a comparatively thicker body with a straight posterior end. So this is about Aschelminthes. The next phylum is phylum Annelida. So next is phylum Annelida. The word Annelida comes from the Latin term called as annulus, and annulus means little ring. So what is this little ring? If you see the body of any annelid, maybe a nereis or a leech, you can see the body is highly segmented. And if you remember, we call the segmentation as metamerism. Metameric segmentation means every segment represents the body part. And you can see the body has small ring-like segments which combine to form the whole structure. Thus the name called as Annelida or the little ring. Right? So coming to the common animals. The common animals are earthworms, leeches, and sandworms like the nereis. So where do you find them? If you know, earthworms are terrestrial. Leeches, some of the leeches can come on the land, but basically these are aquatic in the water. And when I say aquatic, freshwater, and we also have some marine leeches which suck the blood. And leeches are also ectoparasites, that is, they are attached to the outside body surface and they are generally blood suckers. They suck the blood. So the sandworms, like the nereis, these are the free living organisms. So let's see the fundamental characteristics from our own table. So let's quickly revise. Where is Annelida? So this is Annelida. Annelida is a coelomate, that is true coelom is present, bilaterally symmetrical, and organ system level of organization. So I'll go for the characteristics. These have organ system level of organization. Annelids are bilaterally symmetrical. The bilaterally symmetrical has a property called as triploblastic, three germinal layers, ectoderm, endoderm, and mesoderm. And these are coelomates, that is, true coelom is present. The body cavity is lined by the mesodermal lining. So these are the basic characteristics what you get from our table, right? So let's go for the other characters. If I go for the external features, So we have seen they have ring-like segments, the whole body is segmented, and they have metameres, that is, a single segment represents the whole body. As they are triploblastic, the mesoderm is distributed both near ectoderm as well as endoderm. So the ectoderm mesoderm will form the muscles of the body wall, and there are two types of body wall muscles, that is, the circular muscles which are present in the circular fashion and the longitudinal muscles present lengthwise. And these two are responsible for the locomotion. The movement is possible by the muscles. The muscles present in the endoderm will have help in the peristaltic movements, right? Another feature is in the case of nereis, as you can see in the diagram, you can see small extensions are present. So look at the diagram where you have each segment has smaller extensions, and these extensions are called as parapodia. These parapodia are useful for the swimming. As nereis is aquatic, the swimming is done through the parapodia. We'll discuss the systems one by one. The first one is digestive system. As usual, complete gut is present. Muscles are also present in the alimentary canal. Coming to respiration, simple diffusion method. Because they are aquatic or the body should be kept moist, so the body surface will help in the exchange of gases. First time you can see the development of circulatory system, and this system is the closed type of system where the blood always flows in the closed blood vessels. The excretory structures are well developed, called as nephridia. Nephridia help in excretion. As I told, excretory structures also help in osmoregulation. Coming to nervous system, as they are bilaterally symmetrical, cephalization, that is, the concentration of neurons or the nervous system can be seen here. The nervous system has something called as the ganglia. The group of neurons will form the ganglia, and they have a double ventral nerve cord throughout the body. See the chordates, we have a dorsal, but these invertebrates will have a ventral nerve cord. And how is the nerve cord? It is a double ventral nerve cord. So they have the ganglia. These ganglia are paired ganglia which fuse, and throughout the body we can find the double ventral nerve cord. Coming to reproduction, both type of animals are seen here. That is, animals like nereis are unisexuals. We can use the word called as the dioecious. So nereis is dioecious, whereas earthworms and leeches are bisexuals. That is, hermaphrodites or monoecious. So as per NCERT, we can use the word called as the dioecious. For unisexuals, where sexes are separate, and for bisexual, we use the word called as monoecious. So earthworm and leeches are monoecious, whereas nereis is dioecious. Reproduction is completely sexual reproduction. Reproduction is also well developed. So common animals I have already discussed. As in the diagram, you can see the common animals are nereis, hydrodinia, and we have earthworm, and earthworms are called as ferritima. So let's quickly revise. Phylum Annelida. The term annulus means little ring, and the whole body is segmented, metameric segmentation. Animals are terrestrial or aquatic, and a few are free living. Leeches are ectoparasites and they suck the blood. The fundamental characteristics: organ system level of organization, bilateral symmetry, triploblastic in nature with the coelomate condition. Coming to body features, the whole body has ring-like segments. In the case of nereis, you can see parapodia which help in the swimming. In other animals, the body wall has two types of muscles, circular and longitudinal, which help in the locomotion. A complete gut is present. Respiration by simple diffusion because the body wall should be moist. First time you can see the development of the circulatory system, closed type. Excretion is done by the nephridia, somewhat advanced type, also help in osmoregulation. Nervous system has paired ganglia and a double ventral nerve cord present in the body with the segmental ganglia. Reproduction completely sexual. Some animals like the nereis are dioecious, that is unisexual. Earthworms and leeches are bisexuals, or we can use the word called as monoecious. So those who want to revise from the textbook, here is the textbook part. So just go through it. The phylum Annelida, where annulus means little ring. Aquatic, both marine and freshwater, or terrestrial or free living. Some are ectoparasites like leeches. Basic characters: organ system level of organization, bilateral symmetry, triploblastic, metameric segmentation, and coelomate. Locomotion is done by the body wall muscles, longitudinal and circular. Nereis have parapodia which help in swimming. Closed type of circulation. Nephridia help in excretion and osmoregulation. Nervous system has paired ganglia and the lateral nerves or a double ventral nerve cord. Animals like nereis are dioecious, earthworms and leeches are monoecious. Reproduction sexual. Okay, the common example, nereis, the sandworm. Ferritima is the earthworm and Hyrudinaria is the leech, and leeches are blood-sucking. So this is a complete revision of phylum Annelida. Revise this. At the end, as I told you, you can find the Telegram channel in the description box. Follow Telegram channel, do the daily practice papers. Prepare for your NEET examination. Let's continue in the next part with the other phyla from Arthropoda onwards.